Stop scrolling because the two Jefferson nickels you're looking at could be more interesting than they appear. At first glance, these coins may look like ordinary 5-cent pieces, but collectors know that certain Jefferson nickels can become surprisingly valuable because of rare dates, mint marks, condition, and unusual errors. The coins shown here feature Monticello on the reverse, along with the classic inscriptions 5 cents and United States of America. But the real question is what's on the other side of these coins. Their exact value can't be determined from the reverse alone. We need to check the date, mint mark, condition, and any possible doubling or minting errors. So before you spend a Jefferson nickel from your pocket change, take a closer look. One small detail could make a big difference to collectors. Stay with us as we examine these coins and discover what makes a Jefferson nickel rare and potentially valuable. The 1995 D Jefferson nickel is a United States 5-cent coin struck at the Denver Mint, identified by the small D mint mark on the obverse. More than 888 million examples were produced, so this coin is not considered rare in normal circulated condition. It weighs 5 grams, measures about 21.2 millimeters in diameter, and is made of 75% copper and 25% nickel. In circulated condition, a typical 1995 D Jefferson nickel is generally worth around its face value of 5 cents. Examples in attractive uncirculated condition can bring more, depending on their grade and eye appeal. The most important factor for collectors is often the condition of the coin, especially the sharpness of the details on the reverse. One particularly interesting feature to check is the Monticello staircase. Coins with exceptionally clear and complete steps can qualify for the full steps designation. High-grade 1995 D Jefferson nickels with full steps can be significantly more valuable than ordinary examples. Exceptional certified specimens have sold for much higher prices at auction. When examining a 1995 D nickel, carefully check the date, the D mint mark, overall condition, luster, scratches, and especially the Monticello steps. Also look for genuine minting errors such as strong doubling and off-center strike, missing details, or unusual die varieties. However, not every unusual-looking mark is an error, so authentication is important before assuming a coin is extremely valuable. The key point is that a normal 1995 D Jefferson nickel is usually a common coin worth only a small amount above face value, while a high-grade full steps example or a genuine major mint error can be much more desirable to collectors. If you have clear photographs of both sides of the coin, especially the date, mint mark, and Monticello steps, are the best way to evaluate it. The 2000 D Jefferson nickel is a United States 5-cent coin struck at the Denver Mint, and the small D mint mark identifies it as a Denver issue. The coin was designed by Felix Schlag and features Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse. The 2000 D nickel has a diameter of about 21.2 millimeters, weighs 5 grams, and is made from 75% copper and 25% nickel. USA Coinbook +1. The 2000 D Jefferson nickel is a modern coin, and more than 1.5 billion pieces were produced at Denver, so an ordinary circulated example is not considered a rare coin. Because of the very large mintage, most 2000 D nickels found in pocket change are worth approximately their face value of 5 cents. However, condition can make a major difference when it comes to collectible examples. USA Coin Book. In circulated condition, the coin normally has very little premium over its 5-cent face value. NGC's guide currently lists circulated 2000 D examples around $0, $10, $20, depending on condition, while higher uncirculated grades can be worth substantially more. NGC. For uncirculated coins, USA Coinbook currently gives a general estimated range of about 30 cents to $1.24 or more depending on grade. Actual market prices can differ because the value of a particular coin depends on its grade, eye appeal, certification, and whether it has desirable characteristics such as full steps. USA Coinbook. One of the most important things to examine on a 2000 D Jefferson nickel is the reverse side, especially the staircase beneath Monticello. Collectors look for exceptionally complete and sharply defined steps. Coins with this characteristic can receive a full steps designation, often abbreviated as FS. A high-quality full steps specimen can be worth considerably more than an ordinary circulated nickel. The full steps designation is particularly important because many Jefferson nickels have weakly struck areas on the Monticello steps. If the steps are complete, clear, and uninterrupted, the coin can become more desirable to collectors. This does not mean every 2000 D nickel with visible steps is worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. The overall grade and quality are still extremely important. PCGS lists a 2000 D Jefferson nickel full steps variety and records an auction result of $1,898 for an MS-67 example. That is an exceptional certified high-grade coin and should not be confused with the value of a normal circulated 2000D nickel. PCGS. Another market reference, CoinWorld, shows values increasing substantially as the grade rises. Its guide lists the 2000D at approximately 5 cents in lower grades, around 35 cents at MS60, 50 cents at MS63, 75 cents at MS64, and several dollars in higher grades, with full steps examples commanding significantly higher prices. CoinWorld. This shows why condition is so important. A worn coin with scratches, discoloration, contact marks, and weak details will generally remain a common 5-cent coin. A bright, original, sharply struck coin with minimal marks can be much more interesting to collectors. When checking your 2000D nickel, start with the date. Make sure the final digit is clearly a 0 and that the coin has not been altered or damaged. Then look for the small D mint mark on the obverse near Jefferson's portrait. The presence of the D confirms that the coin was struck at Denver. Next, examine Jefferson's portrait. Look at the hair, cheek, jaw, and other raised areas. On an uncirculated coin, these areas should retain strong detail and original mint luster. Heavy wear across these high points usually indicates that the coin circulated. Turn the coin over and inspect Monticello. Look closely at the building, columns, windows, and especially the steps. A strong strike with well-defined architectural details is desirable. Also inspect the lettering. Look at Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America. The letters should be sharp and properly formed. Any unusual doubling should be examined carefully because normal strike characteristics, die deterioration, or damage can sometimes be mistaken for a valuable doubled die. You should also check the edge of the coin. The 2000D Jefferson nickel has a plain edge rather than a reeded edge. The coin should normally have a consistent circular shape. If it appears dramatically off-center, unusually thin, unusually thick, or has another major minting abnormality, it may deserve additional examination. Authentic mint errors can sometimes add significant value. Examples include major off-center strikes, clips, die breaks, struck-through errors, and certain forms of doubled dies. However, damage that happened after the coin left the mint generally does not carry the same collector premium. For example, scratches caused by another coin, damage from machinery, cuts, filing, polishing, or intentional alteration should not automatically be considered mint errors. This distinction is extremely important when estimating the value of a modern Jefferson nickel. The color of a 2000D nickel can also tell you something about its condition and history. A normal nickel has a silvery appearance because of its copper-nickel composition. Dark tunning or discoloration does not automatically make it rare or valuable. Some natural tunning can be attractive, but artificial coloring generally does not create the same collector value as original mint condition. Cleaning is another major issue. If a coin has been aggressively cleaned, its surface may show unnatural brightness, fine hairlines, or an unusual appearance. Professional collectors generally prefer coins with original surfaces. Cleaning can reduce the value of an otherwise attractive coin. The most valuable 2000D nickels are therefore not simply valuable because they are from the year 2000. Their value comes from exceptional preservation, high numerical grade, full steps, or a genuine mint error or variety. If your coin has been circulating for many years, a value of only 5 cents is completely normal. Do not assume that every 2000D nickel is worth hundreds or thousands of dollars simply because you see high prices online. Online listings can sometimes show extremely high asking prices that do not represent what collectors actually pay. A seller may list an ordinary coin for $500 or $1,000, but that does not mean the coin is actually worth that amount. Auction records and professional price guides are generally more useful when determining collectible value. Even then, prices can vary based on timing, auction demand, certification, and the exact grade of the individual coin. For a serious valuation, professional grading can be considered if the coin appears exceptionally well preserved or has a possible major error. Grading companies such as PCGS and NGC examine the coin and assign a numerical grade. Certified coins can be easier to compare with known market examples. A coin graded MS60 is uncirculated, but it may have noticeable marks or other imperfections. As the grade rises to MS63, MS64, MS65, MS66, and higher, the requirements become increasingly demanding. Small differences in grade can make a large difference in value for scarce high-grade examples. Full steps can make the situation even more interesting. Two 2000D nickels may look similar at first, but if one has complete Monticello steps and the other has weak or interrupted steps, collectors may value them very differently. The PCGS record for the 2000D full steps variety demonstrates how dramatically exceptional quality can change the market. An MS67 full steps example reached $1,898 at auction. Again, this is an exceptional certified specimen, not the normal value of a circulated coin. PCGS. The regular strike 2000D nickel also has an interesting auction history. PCGS reports an auction record of $4,050 for a 2000D 5-cent coin, although that particular record involved a PCGS genuine example sold through eBay and should not be interpreted as the normal market value for the issue. PCGS. This is an excellent reminder that individual auction records can sometimes be unusual. A single high sale does not establish the value of every coin of the same date and mint mark. For someone searching through pocket change, the best strategy is to focus on condition and unusual characteristics rather than simply the date. A shiny 2000D nickel with strong original luster and excellent details deserves closer inspection than a heavily worn example. Use a magnifying glass or a phone camera with good lighting. Avoid touching the coin's surfaces unnecessarily. Hold it by the edges so that oils from your fingers do not leave marks. Do not clean the coin before having it evaluated. Cleaning can permanently change the surface and may reduce collector interest. When photographing the coin, take a clear picture of the obverse and another of the reverse. Make sure the date, D mint mark, Monticello, and staircase are visible. A close-up photograph of the steps can be especially useful when checking for full steps. A digital scale can also be useful. A normal 2000D Jefferson nickel should weigh approximately 5 grams. A significant difference from the expected weight could indicate damage, alteration, or an unusual planchet or minting issue, although small differences can occur because of wear and measurement tolerance. The diameter should be approximately 21.2 millimeters. The coin has a plain edge and a copper-nickel composition. These specifications can help distinguish a normal coin from something unusual. USA Coin Book. The 2000D nickel is therefore an interesting collectible coin, but it is important to separate ordinary examples from exceptional ones. Most examples are common. Only a relatively small percentage have the quality necessary to attract significant collector premiums. If your 2000D nickel is worn, scratched, and circulated, its value is generally close to 5 cents. If it is uncirculated, bright, sharply struck, and free from significant marks, it may be worth more. If the Monticello steps are complete and clearly separated, pay particular attention to the coin. A full steps designation can make the coin substantially more desirable. If you believe the coin has a genuine mint error, do not polish or alter it. Preserve it in its current condition and have clear photographs examined or consider professional authentication. The most important lesson is that the words 2000D alone do not make the nickel rare. The date and mint mark identify the issue, but the real value depends on grade, strike quality, full steps, errors, varieties, and market demand. For a typical 2000D Jefferson nickel, the realistic market value is usually only a few cents in circulated condition. Uncirculated examples can range from less than $1 to several dollars depending on grade, while exceptional full steps coins can reach much higher prices. Current guides support this broad range. USA Coinbook +1. So, before spending a 2000D Jefferson nickel, take a few seconds to inspect it. Look at Jefferson's portrait, check the D mint mark, examine the reverse, and study every step of Monticello. You could be holding an ordinary 5-cent coin, or you could have a particularly nice high-grade example that deserves to be saved for a collection. The key is careful examination. A 2000D nickel in ordinary circulated condition is common, but a pristine example with full steps, a major verified mint error, or an unusual variety can become much more interesting to collectors. Always remember that advertised prices are not guaranteed selling prices. The actual amount a collector will pay depends on the coin's authenticity, grade, appearance, certification, and current market demand. If you discover a 2000D nickel that looks unusually sharp, has strong luster, shows complete Monticello steps, and has very few marks, it is worth setting aside. And if you find a possible mint error, take detailed photographs before doing anything to the coin. Never clean it. Never polish it. Never scratch it to test the metal. Keep it protected and seek a proper evaluation. The 2000D Jefferson nickel may not be rare in general, but its high-grade examples and full steps varieties can be much more desirable than ordinary pocket change pieces. PCGS plus 1. For collectors, that is what makes searching through old jars, rolls, and pocket change so exciting. A common coin can sometimes have an uncommon combination of condition and quality. So check your 2000D Jefferson nickel carefully. Look at the date. Look at the D. Look at Jefferson. Look at Monticello. Most importantly, look at those steps. That small detail could be the difference between an ordinary 5-cent coin and a much more collectible example. And remember, the strongest values belong to exceptional coins, not every 2000D nickel you find. If your coin is circulated, expect a modest value. If it is uncirculated, compare its condition carefully. If it has full steps or a genuine mint error, investigate further. The 2000D Jefferson nickel remains an affordable and interesting coin for beginners and experienced collectors alike, and it is definitely worth examining before you spend it.